Welcome back to my English practice podcast. I'm Ellie, and today I'm really happy you're here because this episode is getting to help you practice English in a real life situation, ordering food over the phone. And listen, stay with me until the end because today's story is funny, simple, and very useful. You'll hear how to ask questions, how to order food, how to spell your name, how to confirm the address, and what to do when you don't understand the person on the phone. And before we start, I want you to do something for me. Go to the comments and write your English level. Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? Or are you advanced? Write beginner, intermediate, or advanced. That will help me know what kind of videos to make for the next episode. I want to create lessons that truly help you practice English and understand it in a real life. Alright, let's begin. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about the day my dad and I wanted to buy food over the phone. And honestly, it should have been simple. We were hungry. We wanted food. We had the phone number. That's it. But somehow, a simple phone call turned into a whole adventure. It was a Saturday afternoon. My dad and I were at home. We had been busy all day and nobody wanted to cook. The kitchen was quiet. The fridge had a few things inside, but nothing exciting. My dad opened the fridge, looked inside, and stayed there for a few seconds. Then he closed it and looked at me. He had that face, the face that says, "There is food, but I don't want any of it." I looked at him and asked, "Are you hungry?" He nodded very. I asked, "Do you want to cook?" He gave me the fastest answer of the day. "No." I laughed and said, "Okay, me neither." So we sat at the table and started talking about food. I said, "What do you want to eat?" My dad thought for a moment. "Maybe chicken?" he answered. "Chicken sounds good," I told him. Then he added, "Or pizza." I smiled. "So, chicken or pizza?" He shrugged. "Both sound good." That's when I knew we were in trouble. When you are hungry and you don't know what you want, everything sounds good. I picked up my phone and searched for a restaurant nearby. I found a small local place that sold chicken, fries, burgers, and salads. I showed my dad the menu. He looked at it carefully, like he was studying for a test. After a minute, he pointed at the screen. "This one," he said. "That grilled chicken plate." I looked at the menu and said, "Okay, It comes with rice, salad, and bread. He nodded. That sounds good. I asked, what do you want to drink? He said, Coke. I said, regular Coke? He nodded again. I decided to order a chicken sandwich with fries. Everything was ready. We had the order. We had the number. Now we just had to call. Easy, right? Not exactly. I dialed the number, put the phone on speaker, and my dad sat next to me, listening. The phone rang once, twice. Then someone answered quickly. Thank you for calling Miller's Grill. How can I help you? The person spoke fast, very fast. My dad looked at me with wide eyes, like, what did they say? I smiled and whispered, it's okay. Then I answered, hi, I'd like to place an order for pickup, please. That phrase is very useful. I'd like to place an order for pickup, please. It means you want to order food and pick it up yourself. The worker answered, sure. What can I get for you? I looked at my dad and pointed at the menu. I started with his order. Can I get the grilled chicken plate, please? The worker asked, would you like rice or fries with that? I looked at my dad. He whispered, rice. So I answered, rice, please. Then the worker asked another question, but this time it came out fast. And want dressing for that salad? My dad whispered, what? I covered the phone for a second and told him, dressing, like the sauce for the salad. He looked relieved. Oh, ranch, he said. So I spoke into the phone again. Ranch, please. The worker continued. Anything to drink? Yes, a Coke, please. Then I added my order. And can I also get a chicken sandwich with fries? The worker asked, regular fries or sweet potato fries? I wasn't ready for that question. I paused and asked, sorry, can you say that again? That phrase is powerful. Sorry. Can you say that again? Use it when someone speaks too fast or you didn't understand. The worker repeated, regular fries or sweet potato fries? Oh, regular fries, please. Then the worker asked, any sauce? Now, my dad leaned closer and whispered, ask for ketchup. I said, can we get ketchup on the side? The worker said, sure. Then came the part that always makes people nervous on the phone. The worker asked, can I get a name for the order? I answered, Ellie. There was a pause. Then the worker asked, how do you spell that? I said, E-L-Y. The worker repeated. E-L-Y? Yes, that's right. My dad looked impressed, like spelling 3 letters in English was a big performance. Then the worker said, "Okay, your total is $24.87. It'll be ready in about 20 minutes." I said, "Great, thank you." The worker answered, "You're welcome. See you soon." And we hung up. For a second, the room was quiet. Then my dad looked at me and said, "That was fast." I laughed. Yes, people talk fast on the phone. He shook his head and said, "I understood chicken and Coke." I laughed even more. "That's actually good," I told him. "You caught the important words. And that's a big lesson. When someone speaks fast, you don't need to understand every single word. Try to catch the important words. Chicken, rice, fries, drink, name, total, 20 minutes. That is enough to understand the situation. Now, while we waited, my dad started practicing the phrases with me. He said, "I want to learn how to order." I told him, "Okay, start with this. I'd like to place an order." He tried it slowly. "I'd like to place an order." I said, "Good. Now add for pickup." He repeated, "I'd like to place an order for pickup." I smiled. Perfect. Then I taught him another phrase. "What do you recommend?" This is useful when you don't know what to order. For example, if you call a restaurant and you're not sure what is good, you can ask, "What do you recommend?" It means, "What food do you think is good?" My dad practiced it. "What do you recommend?" Then he smiled and said, "I recommend tacos." I laughed. "That's not the restaurant. That's you." Then he said, "Still true." After about 20 minutes, we got ready to pick up the food. Before we left, I checked the order one more time. I said, "Grilled chicken plate with rice and ranch, Coke, chicken sandwich, and fries, ketchup on the side." My dad nodded. "Seriously, don't forget the ketchup." I said, "Dad, I won't forget the ketchup." We got in the car and drove to the restaurant. On the way there, my dad asked, "What does pick up mean?" That's a great phrase, verb. Pick up means to go get something. If you order food and you go get it, you pick it up. You can say, "I'm going to pick up the food." You can also use it 4 people. I'm going to pick up my daughter from school. Or, can you pick me up at 5? So I explained it to my dad. Pick up means go get something or someone. He nodded. So we're going to pick up the food. Exactly, I said. Then he asked, what about hang up? I smiled because he remembered when I said we hung up. Hung up means to end a phone call. For example, I said thank you and then I hung up. Or don't hang up. I have another question. My dad nodded again. Okay, pick up, hang up. True useful phrasal verb. When we arrived at the restaurant, we walked inside. The place smelled amazing. You could smell chicken, fries, and fresh bread. A worker looked at us and smiled. Hi, pick up? I answered. Yes, I have an order for Ellie. The worker checked the bags behind the counter. Ellie? She asked. Yes, I said. She grabbed a bag, looked at the receipt, and said, grilled chicken plate, chicken sandwich, fries, and Coke. That's right, I answered. Then my dad whispered, ketchup. I looked at the worker and asked, does it have ketchup on the side? She checked the bag. Oh, let me grab some for you. My dad looked at me like he had just saved dinner. The worker added ketchup and handed me the bag. Here you go. Thank you so much, I said. Then she said, have a good one. That phrase is very common in American English. Have a good one. It means have a good day or have a good night. It's casually and friendly. I answered, you too. We walked back to the car and my dad looked proud. He said, I understood pickup. I said, see? You're learning. He smiled. Little by little, when we got home, we put the food on the table. Everything looked good. My dad opened his plate and smiled. This looks better than cooking, he said. I laughed. Definitely. Then he took one bite and nodded. Good choice, he said. We ate, talked, and laughed about the phone call. My dad kept repeating the phrase, I'd like to place an order for pickup. What do you recommend? Can you say that again? And honestly, that was the best part because ordering food was not just about food. It became English practice, real English practice, the kind of English you need in daily life. Now, let's talk about a few useful phrases from this story. First, I'd like to place an order for pickup. Use this when you call a restaurant and you want to order food to pick up. Second, what can I get for you? This is what workers often ask. It means, what do you want to order? Third, can you say that again? Use this when you don't understand. Fourth, on the side. This means separate, not mixed in. For example, can I get ketchup on the side? Can I get dressing on the side? Can I get sauce on the side? Fifth, how do you spell that? People ask this when they need your name. You can answer with letters E, L, Y. 6. It will be ready in about 20 minutes. This means your food will be ready soon. 7th, I'm here to pick up an order. Use this when you arrive at the restaurant. And now, let's review the phrasal verbs. Pick up means to go get something or someone. I'm going to pick up the food. I need to pick up my kids. Hang up means to end a phone call. Don't hang up. I said thank you and I hung up. These are simple but very useful. Now, before we finish, I want to ask you something. If you had to order food in English today, what would you order? Write in the comments. You can write pizza, chicken, burger, tacos, salad, fries, or you can write a full sentence. I would order chicken and fries. Also, don't forget to write your English level, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. That will help me choose the topic for the next episode. Thank you for practicing with me today. If you understood the story, even if you didn't understand everything, every word, that is progress. Your listening is improving. And if this video helped you, please subscribe, leave a like, and write a comment. It's free. And it helps this podcast grow so more people can practice English with us. My name is Ellie, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!